Welcome in. This is 300 Yards to Unknown. I'm Rick Gehman. That right there, Eric Patterson at EPAT Golf. EPAT, it is time. Farmers Week. I love it. I think you love it. I'm pretty sure you love it, right?
I've got my Torrey
There you
Pine
go.
Q-Zip on that I scooped up last year. Yeah, no, this is a fun tournament, kind of like the season kickoff, if you will. Those Hawaii events they're fun. They're light, but now you get a little bit of a stronger field, a little more atmosphere, even though there's no fans. But yeah, it just kind of feels like the PGA Tour is starting now.
Golf
But
is the
before
only.
we get going here, I want to credit that setup. I mean, I haven't had a chance to like you look like I don't know, like a Twitch streamer almost. Bryson might be able to pick up a few points from you.
Thank you. Yes, this
green
is
light.
yeah, okay. I didn't know how the green light was going to go over. That's still very much in like the testing phase.
Beta
But
phase, yeah.
yeah, this is my wife's doing, right? We obviously, I create a lot of content for a living, so like having a good setup and being appealing to potential like network shows or whatever, trying to get more of a studio quality was on the top of our list, and she just ran with it. So
it looks like are those those Zach Galifianakis show Between Two Ferns?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you kind of got
This is
that
like
vibe going.
between two palms is
Okay,
really what
palms, between two palms. No, it's nice. It makes my little corner of my bedroom setup look like shit, but is what it is.
Well, luckily I've got a dedicated room to this, so I can get a little more. Yes, we kind of have this angle now where it's kind of an awkward. Like if you were to sit in this room, you'd be like, "Wow, that's a really weird place for a desk to be," but it's good for like the depth and all of that stuff. And then she figured it all
is that
out.
a signed Sungjae shoe?
Yes.
Or Benny Ann? That needs to go like right on your shoulder. We need that like
right
as close as possible. Yeah, I need to get that up close and personal.
There is actually one of them is a Sungjae shoe and one of them is a Benny Ann shoe. I think that's Sungjae, and I think
Just
this
the
one over here is
Korean duo. Those are nice, nice pieces, and the nice artwork. Yeah, you've definitely upped your production game.
Thank you. So yeah, so those prints are, and I've got a couple of them. So it's like St. Andrews, Torrey, Augusta, Pebble, and then one that's not in frame is Sawgrass, and they're just like those minimalist. Like I love those like golf.
Yeah, I saw you.
Just, like,
saw you tweeting about them. They're nice.
I love it. I forget what else I was going to say. Yeah, this is where we're at now. So we're going to try to continue to make improvements. That light is very much in a beta phase. So we'll see.
Does that light change colors by any chance?
Yeah, it does.
Oh man, you gotta test out the different options, match it to your wardrobe,
and it'll like pulse, or it'll like go fast, or it'll like change colors, like go through all 8 colors as you go through. So there's just a hell of a lot going on over here. But yeah, it's Farmers Week, my dude. We were here. It feels like a decade ago. We were here last year. That feels like
this day, round 1. That's when we crossed paths for the first time. That was nuts. We followed Tiger around. He hit a shot from like right in front of the ball, bound off the cart path, dribbled right in front of our feet. That was pretty lucky, pretty cool. Haven't seen that since 2000. I hadn't seen Tiger. So it brings back good memories. And obviously that was the first event that like I actually got media credentialed. I didn't really do a lot of media work. I was there with TaylorMade, but it was more of a kind of behind the scenes, behind the ropes access. So it was fun. Definitely a special week.
If you've never been to Torrey, if you're planning on going, the absolute best view on the entire property is where that Tiger shot happened, Eric. So I always confuse this because they used to flip the 9s for tournaments, and then they just changed it all together. So I'm pretty sure it's after the par 3 on the north course on the back, which I think is 15, and the 16 fairway. If you go up 16 fairway and look back towards the tee box, best view on maybe any course anywhere, because you see the coast, you can see like La Jolla Beach, you can see the green of 15, and you're standing in 16 fairway. It's the best view.
Yeah, that's where we were, right? I kind of get the north course a little lost. I didn't travel too much to the south, but that's a good little pocket. 17, and then I'm excited to watch it on TV and just kind of re-jog my memory about those holes. But everywhere at Torrey you kind of get caught looking out into the ocean and staring around, and you forget you're almost at a tournament sometimes.
I don't think people realize like that's a huge plot of land. Like the south and the north. It's unbelievable. They're so spread out. I mean, you could be on the North Course and you're nowhere near. You get your steps in if you go and watch those events. Which I actually think, for the PGA Tour, I kind of hate it when they do the multiple course rotations, because a lot of times it feels like, oh, they're like 15 minutes down the road at some
Yeah.
other course and it's completely separate. This, at least, everything is literally in the same spot. It's a huge plot of land and it takes a while to walk around, but it feels much more like one course, but I know that it's not.
I was just thinking the driving range at Torrey is relatively small.
It's got to be the worst driving range on
They have
tour.
a net up in front of both sides so balls don't roll in front of so double-ended driving range.
Right.
When Bryson gets there in June, where is he going to hit balls? Maybe they'll just set up a little plot of land for him and he just bombs them into the ocean. That's the only place that can contain it.
Yeah, it is. That has got to be the worst driving range on tour, because I mean it's literally a municipal course. I mean, I was there a couple of weeks ago, and I mean we were waiting for like stalls, because there's like 25 stalls there. Like, it's unbelievable. Yeah. And then they can go down to the other end. They let the guys
go to the other end, but I mean that's probably still 350. So if you got, there could be some serious issues coming in June when Bryson starts just ripping them from the back of the driving range. Someone's going to get hit.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. That's gonna be a bit wild. We've had a couple of good moments over the years, obviously. So do you buy into like the whole don't take Torrey seriously here in January because it's gonna look a lot different in June for the US Open, or that like there is some reconnaissance to be taking into the summer?
I mean, the first massive difference that we've seen already is the PGA Tour is opting to go with preferred lies for days 1 and 2, and the USGA would never do that. So even if it gets some rain in June, we're not going to see those preferred lies. So there's one major difference, and I would assume, like now in San Diego in that area, it's definitely a little cooler, a little wetter, so it's probably a bit softer. But come May, June, everything's probably will be a little firmer and faster. So I would expect it to be a lot different. It's going to look relatively the same, but the players will be able to tell you how drastically different it is.
Yeah, they certainly will. And golf Twitter always gets up in arms when they do this like proactive preferred lies thing, right? So they're expecting rain on Friday, or I guess heavy rain Thursday into Friday, and because of that, they are now playing lift, clean, and place on a beautiful 65-degree perfect day in Southern California. And let me tell you, Eric, the people are not happy about it.
You get the best players in the world. No one plays more preferred lies than the PGA Tour. I don't do it with my buddies. Maybe if I have mud on my ball, I'll clean it up, but I'm not like tipping my lie to get like a perfect, get the exact right piece of grass that I want it on. No one plays live, clean, and place more than the PGA Tour, and they're the best players in the world. They should be able to deal with a mud ball or two. That's how I think, anyways.
I actually think
it also takes away from like the draw. If they have a bad luck draw, like you should have to deal with a little bit of extra wind, a little bit of worse weather. That's just the way golf has always been.
I actually think like recreational golf, you should just be like, you should constantly be like picking it up and like putting it down in a 1 square foot range, right? Like speed it up, improve that, whatever it needs to help recreational golf. But you're right. Like it's kind of crazy because the difference between just a little small differences in some of these lies and we're kind of removing the luck factor a bit is huge for these guys. They love that. They can go out there and do anything they want with the ball. It's
they can just pick up that ball, clean it off, dry it off. Like it just ideal for it increases the need to hit fairways, and then also kind of changes the strategy maybe a little bit. Like you don't want to be playing from the rough at all. If you're playing lift, clean, and place, it just emphasizes the importance of hitting a fairway, which I don't know, kind of takes away from maybe my approach this week and try to pick guys who hit it long and maybe not are as accurate. So it is what it is, but it's frustrating to see the best guys in the world consistently kind of get advantages that most people don't really get.
Yeah, it is a little bit difficult to swallow. Your Quick 9, Volume 7, out this week, Farmers Insurance Open Week. And the big thing that I think you and I need to discuss is number 3 on your list. It is the PGA Tour going all in, potentially, we'll get to that, on golf betting. So here's what's going to happen for the Waste Management. There is going to be a second stream that is going to be called NBC Sports Edge Betcast. That's a new show that will, quote, aim to speak directly to gamblers with live betting coverage and commentary during PGA Tour tournaments. So I actually guess it's not just the Waste Management, which is kind of what I thought. It's actually going to be starting at the Waste Management and be every week. Is that right?
I didn't know it was going every week. I did know that it was starting at the Waste Management. Again, this is on Peacock Premium, so something I won't be able to watch in Canada, which is unfortunate.
I have Peacock Premium for The Office. I pay $9.99 a month to watch The Office while I fall asleep. Is that a good investment?
We still have The Office up here in Netflix, so we get lucky there. I don't know if it doesn't Peacock. They charge like based on how much Office you want to watch. It's like the free version, you get seasons 1 and 2, and then if you want to pay for the $5, you get all of them, and they pretty much base their entire pricing plan on how much Office you watch. But
I mean, when they paid $100 million to get that back from Netflix, I guess they should probably focus their entire pricing model around Dunder Mifflin.
You see those commercials about like, we got The Office. The Office is like what, 10, 15 years old now. So
yeah.
They're advertising it like it's a new show, but a good show for sure. But I don't know if I wish there was a way I could watch this so I could give an honest assessment of what it's going to be like. I'm probably taking a wait and see approach. What do you think? What do you think it's going to be? They say it's geared towards bettors, but what's their definition of what a bettor is?
Here's the problem. As much as I want to be optimistic about this, there has been little evidence of reasons for us to be optimistic about this. I love the idea that NBC is saying, okay, we are going to dedicate a stream. We're going to dedicate resources to cater to gamblers, fantasy players, whatever that might be. That's definitely a step in the right direction. Historically, these things don't end well. Like literally this morning, Eric, Trey Wingo, who I love and who is hosting PGA Tour Live this morning, they pull up the three ball, and Ricky Fowler's got the longest odds. He's plus 255 and whoever else he's playing with, Mickelson and somebody else, I think, Xander. And Trey Wingo announces to the world that Ricky Fowler's the favorite in this 3-ball. And they talk for 2 or 3 minutes about how that's kind of interesting. And it's like, no, that's not true at all. He's like got the worst odds in this 3-ball. And it's just like, I know that PGA Tour Live is not catered towards bettors. So here, what they have to do, you can't just lean into it. It has to be all in. If you are seeking out this stream, it's because you want the odds, you want data, you want guys who are trying to make the cut in fantasy purposes. Like however this is going to go, this is not the regular broadcast where you need to educate and you need to just like dip your toe into the water. I think you have to just be all in on this.
Oh, I've got a fire alarm coming. How about that for a curveball?
How do you know that? I can't hear that. Can you hear it? Oh.
I have your attention, please. This is GC Electric and fire protection.
You might need. I don't know what the protocol is.
Are you in danger?
Fire alarm? No, it's fire alarm testing. I probably should have known this.
How long does this go on for?
I can mute my mic. No, this is brutal. It's gonna be very loud. We get this like once a month, maybe, like 2, 3 in the morning. Someone's like frying grease fires or something. It gets out of hand. Okay. The perks of living in a condo. All right, we might be all right.
Okay. Well, if it goes off, we'll wake some people up. This is well, you guys are so safe up there. I love it.
Fire alarm testing. Yeah, this is can't wait to get out of this condo. Back to the NBC stream. Yeah, like you said, if you're gonna do it, everything has to be. You have to be accurate. You can't give misinformation. You can't get lines wrong. You can't tell you can't break down odds and misinform the viewers. That's the stuff that bothers me the most, because it is such a slippery slope to start providing misinformation to people who might be new to it, who might think it's easier than it is, or whatever the case may be. You just have to get it right. Here we go.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah.
That would not, that's
is this too loud?
I don't know. I don't think so. It actually sounds like,
like a reset bell.
Yeah, like that would not to me indicate that I should be running out of the building. That sounds kind of, I don't know.
I've had this wake me up a few early Friday, Saturday mornings when I'm hungover, and it is the worst by far.
I wish I could just like play like anytime somebody has a bad take, just hit this alarm and let the fire alarm go off and tell you what a bad take it is. But it's
I'm
pretty
gonna hit the
interesting.
mute button on my mic.
Okay. I'll just talk. You let me know when it's done. We're good? Okay. Uh so here's the thing with this, and they have George Savaricas doing it, who I really like George Savaricas. And quite honestly, even if this morning, the Trey Wingo example from this morning, like even if the other guy just would have been like, oh no, like, oh, that's 250. Like no one corrects anybody because I don't think anybody's afraid. I think they're afraid to step on each other's feet or they don't know. Like I think Trey Wingo, I would be shocked if he just didn't know that. Like I don't know if he made a mistake or whatever, but this has to be, and I don't know if it's going to be all week long or only on Saturday and Sunday, but like the Friday cut would be awesome. Like if they were like, okay, here, and you don't even, here's another problem. They don't even need to say, here are the most popular players on DraftKings because they want a deal with DraftKings to be able to say that, or they want a deal with FanDuel to be able to say that. So if they just say, here are the most popular golfers in fantasy formats this week, and then they say, here are the ones that are struggling to make the cut, that makes for a more appealing show. But I don't think they're going to do that, which
I don't think they will either. I think, and they're with PointsBet, right? So they'll have all that information with like most wagered on, most money. So if they lean into that stuff, which is like relevant to viewers, relevant to the general population, I think they could make it really good. But again, I don't think it's going to be exactly what we think.
And what they'll have to do, or what they should do is, and again, I don't know what days this is happening, so maybe I should look this up. So if it is all week or whatever, but even like if you're on Sunday and there's a guy who has a 3-shot lead, and that is when the normal telecast would absolutely just be like, okay, we're only showing this guy moving forward. I still want to see someone who's 1 shot off of top 10s, someone who's 1 shot off of top 20s. I want to have graphics that are results of the matchups for that week, right? Because or for that day, those matchups are going to probably be the guys who are playing together, right? So, okay, as these guys finish up on 18, throw up a graphic of what the odds were before the round and who won it. Like this is not that hard if you think about it.
Do you think they'll have a separate stream for like like Sky Sports use the NBC stream? I feel like it's just going to be the same stream we see, or like the same footage we see for the NBC, and they're just going to have different people talking about it.
If that's the case, it's going to be terrible.
Right? It's going to be, you're going to see the same players. You're not going to, it's not like you'll be able to go watch a different
I didn't
group.
even think about that. Yeah.
Unless they have a full different control booth flipping the shots. I don't think NBC is shrinking their team. I don't think they've expanded to having 2 production trucks.
Oh, I hate that you're probably right.
I just burst your bubble, eh?
Yeah, well, I mean that's going to be terrible because and also in the defense of the regular telecast, it's not really their job to update us on who's going to finish, who's 1 shot off a top 10, 1 shot off a top 20 guys that like that. That's not really their job. So trying to repurpose that telecast somehow as a wagering telecast
sounds like a disaster.
Also, what I don't want them to do, and this is exactly what I imagine is going to happen for the Waste Management, and maybe if there's other weeks, they're gonna post up on 16, and they are gonna do like odds that they hit the green, odds that they make par, odds that they make birdie, and you're gonna watch one hole over and over and over again.
That's where their booth is, and I think they're gonna focus on. They're not gonna focus on the stuff like we typically look for. They'll look at like who's gonna win this hole type things, like not the bets that are like the wagers or what people are researching going into the event. They're going to look at like, oh, Kevin Na is minus, even money to make a birdie or whatever. And like, they'll just focus on that, which is just not what people want.
So I understand that, right? Because if you're PointsBet and you are sponsoring this and you have a huge hand in this, you want to be able to say, okay, you're watching, bet with us now. Go place a wager on what Ricky Fowler is going to do on 16. So I understand that, but in-game hole by hole betting is like, that's down the rabbit hole for gamblers, right? Like there are, okay, you bet your outrights. That's fine. You're in a pool, whatever. Okay. Then you start betting top 5s, top 10s, matchups, betting that is so deep in the rabbit hole that I understand why they would do it, but that seems like a really bad use of your focus.
And I think that's where I go into the slippery slope. Like you might be introducing people to golf betting in the completely wrong way. Like that just like you're going to end up losing if you keep doing that. I think personally, it's impossible to bet hole by hole stuff and have any kind of fun or return. That sounds like a nightmare to me. That's something I would never do, but I think that's what they're going to lean into. And it's not going to be what we want, but at least it's a step in a direction. I don't know if it's the right direction. I just think, what my biggest fear is it's not good and they never go back to it.
Right.
I think like
right.
if this doesn't gain traction and they just say scrap it all together and they never kind of revisit this model where something I do believe could work. I hope it's not just like kind of a one and done scenario where they try it and say, yeah, this didn't work, we're never going to do this again.
So it's Steve Burkowski and George Savarikas, who I don't know much about Steve Burkowski. I like George Savarikas. I don't know what his, betting or wagering acumen is. And then they're going to have Teddy Greenstein. He's from PointsBet. Did you watch at all the Darren Rovell live sweat of his Northwestern bet from a couple of weeks ago?
No.
All right. So here's what happened. So Darren Rovell, noted Twitter personality, I don't know, seems to have a lot of love-hate people out there. I don't know
what his deal is.
But anyway, has, bets on Northwestern to win the Big Ten essentially every single year. He got to the point where he had like, I don't know, $800 on it, and he got some of it at like 300 to 1, and they end up playing Ohio State for the Big Ten title. And what they did, Eric, was Teddy and Darren were on a live stream watching this game together. And as the scores were coming in and as the game was changing, PointsBet was offering different buyout options for Darren Rovell's ticket, which was, I got to admit, pretty entertaining. It was like Deal or No Deal, pretty entertaining. It was pretty good. And Teddy was okay. Teddy was good in that role. So I think this relies a lot on the feed, the direction of the show, and then also who they have. So we're going to learn a lot about Steve Burkowski. We're going to learn a lot about George Savarikas, and we're going to learn a lot about Teddy during this process. And I hope they picked the right people.
I did see that Teddy Greenstein, he was on Golf Today or one of those Golf Channel shows giving out like picks for the week, pretty much what everyone has been doing recently. And he did seem to know what he was talking about. But if he is the only, sports get better on the broadcast, it seems like a lot of pressure. I'd rather maybe Savarikas has like a deep knowledge of it that we're just not aware of, but it seems like two kind of broadcast professionals and guys who are going to control the show with one guy who's going to be kind of pitching in information, where I'd prefer a few more maybe people who have some skin in the game involved and just kind of a different point of view rather than those cookie cutter type broadcaster people who are just like really good at presenting golf, but maybe don't have like the deep knowledge that maybe some of people we know in the space that maybe those people like those could provide, like you or a Pat Mayo or someone.
If they wanted to do this like really, really good, but kind of for the bare minimum, they could almost get away with 2 hours on Friday afternoon and 2 hours on Sunday afternoon. Right. And just have cameras and the ability to go to what would essentially be like 17, 18, 8, and 9 on Friday, and like 15, 16, 17, 18 on Sunday, which you're already going to have cameras there because that's the main telecast and no problem with that. And you could provide a really good focused Friday cut sweat and then resolution of all of the week's wagers on Sunday.
Yeah, no, that's probably the way it makes the most sense. And you don't have to have like, in reality, what's a couple holes early or midday Saturday really mean in the grand scheme of the event? Like there's not a lot of outcomes being, solidified at that stage of the tournament. So what can those people on that broadcast, on a sports betting broadcast, provide at that point in the day? And just like you said, it would probably be better off, in segmented windows where like actual events are occurring, like the cut and the finish. And I mean, Pat Mayo's been doing the cut sweat for a while. I think it's something that people track extremely heavily, especially but again, it's weird that like PGA Tour is so involved with it seems like every sports betting company, they got something with DraftKings, they got something with FanDuel. They're going to be posting live videos or live highlights on FanDuel's app. They're in bed with PointsBet now. So it's like, how do you cater to all these people? Like PointsBet wants their product highlighted, so they're going to ignore the fantasy aspect of it.
Yeah, right. That's why they should just create a feed and let content creators access the feed or the live data or whatever and go from there. Have I ever pitched you my on-site audio streaming idea? Have we ever talked about this?
No. What is this?
Okay, this is an idea where we crowdsource probably 40 people in every city that we go to, that the tour goes to essentially walk around with AirPods or whatever on essentially a Zoom call that they follow the groups and call the action as it's happening. So Thursday morning at 7:10, I'm out there with some Zoom. And then when I finish with that group, I do one more group for the day, and then my day's done.
Wow. That is you think that would have a lot of traction? Someone would want to hear a play-by-play of a random some Joe Schmo in the middle of Milwaukee or Minnesota breaking down a Michael Thompson group. I don't know if
that's the problem. You need the right people to be able to do this, right? But
yeah.
But I mean, don't people on PGA Tour Live? So I'm watching, I don't know, 12 guys that they're following right now. Would you rather listen to have a Zoom call open of someone out there like, oh, Patrick Reed, okay, that ball just bounced. It's in between the cart path and the bunker on 13. That's his tee shot. Like, would you rather just get those updates or click through the shot tracker?
None of the above. Can I just watch with no broadcasters, no voices? Can I flick the screens for myself? I don't know. That's a tough one.
That just goes into, I think you only need, God, I mean, we've talked about that. Like just a stationary camera at the tee box of every hole, a stationary camera at the green of every single hole, point one down the fairway, the other down the fairway,
and let me switch.
And let me choose what camera I want to look at.
Yeah. I think that's more than enough. I think that's what I do. I do that now, just clicking through people's shot trackers. So what's the difference between me clicking through videos
and just mute it? Just mute it because the tour's terrified of Tiger going up there and saying something that gets caught on a hot mic, and everyone who just happens to be watching that camera and that feed at that time hears it. So just mute them. Just mute them.
Yeah. No, that's what I want to see one day. But I mean, who knows? It's probably never going to get there. But again, this all comes back to the PGA Tour taking the step in a right direction. But you're going to have to give some candid reviews, some honest reviews of the Peacock Premium stream for us Canadians who don't have a chance to see it.
I'm looking forward to it. I generally am optimistic in these situations, but it always seems to be a letdown. But I guess you need failures before you find some successes. So we'll see. I'll be happy to give a candid review. Maybe I'll set up a stream for you so you can watch. I'll just open up a StreamYard.
Wow.
And just let it run.
And the Peacock people are going to be coming after you.
Sorry, I didn't say that. I would never do something like that.
Well, the PGA Tour is also going to be adding live odds to their app, like their leaderboard. Did you see that?
I haven't seen it today. I haven't seen it this morning, but that's with FanDuel, right?
Is it with? I don't know exactly who it was with. I haven't seen it on the app now, but again, another concern there is their app doesn't even work to begin with. So to add more features to it seems a bit ambitious.
It would be really great to have live odds when you don't know who's in the lead because the app doesn't have any scores anyway. So what's the point? Crazy. It's so crazy.
It's weird that people go to Bet365's leaderboard as opposed to the PGA Tour's leaderboard. I think that's so backwards.
I don't know. I can't. I mean, when are we okay? Who puts
We're
in
just
scores?
getting angry. We're getting very angry.
Do volunteers put in scores? Like, okay, I know they do like the shot link. I know they do a lot of other stuff with the ropes and stuff.
Yeah,
but
they do the scores.
Why? We really can't employ 40 people. 18 people. Like one person a hole can't put the scores in, and they travel around. They already take 150 people with them anyway. Why can't they take 168 people with them?
That's a good question. I think that's why you see so many errors, is because like the people putting in the scores don't really see. Maybe I'm completely don't understand what's going on those sites, but I would assume those people put the scores in around the greens, but maybe they don't know what happened down the fairway. So that's why you'll see like the shot will go way left, and then he's got a ball in the middle of the fairway, but then he's on the green in 0 inches to the hole. You know that
0
one.
inches
That's
to the hole. Yeah. Yeah.
so he hold out for the fairway. Great. And then all of a sudden,
0 yards, but he's on the green now, and it's like
all of a sudden he's tapping in for a double, and you just no idea. You have to piece the puzzle backwards. I think they just see what they see at the green and kind of almost assume, and then all the systems talk to each other to figure out what that player had.
Yeah, here's a perfect example. This morning,
0 inches to the hole.
Billy Horschel, 288 to left rough. That was his first shot. There is no second shot. Third shot is 0 yards to green, 48 feet to the hole. It's just like I don't know. I don't know what he did on that second shot.
Dropped it on the green.
Oh my God. All right. Let's talk about something that is not going to get my blood pressure up. Let's see what's going on this week. So I'm checking out your quick 9 here. You've already planted a flag on Matthew Wolff, who has me a bit worried, my friend. But I don't think he's teed off at the point that we're chatting. But what about Wolfie this week does it for you?
I just had this feeling. Everyone was on him last week, and I thought about, because I have the ins on the PGA Tour. I talked to him last year at Torrey, not a big deal. Had a little interview with him, and he just seemed to love at that point he loved how Torrey Pines set up for him. Just kind of, he can use his strength, hit his driver, just fits his eye. California. Maybe I'm trying to make him too much of like what Rahm did in 2017, where that was his breakout type win. For Rahm, it was his first win, but if Wolff won this, that would definitely be bigger than the 3M Open. So it just seems like a really good spot for him to break out. Everyone's worried about his around the green game, which I completely understand. But if Wolff has to rely on his around the green game, he's not going to win anyways. The point is he's hitting greens, making putts. If he's scrambling, he's not going to win anywhere he plays, I don't think. So that's kind of the angle I went at it with. Like, if he hits 12 of 18 greens, then it wasn't meant to be. He's not going to win. But if he hits 16, then I think I like his chances a lot more. So I don't know. It just seems like a spot where Wolff can do some damage. He did switch his putter going into round 1, which I'm not a fan of. I don't like to see guys tinkering with putters, especially someone who's a good putter like Wolff is. So that's unfortunate, but I don't know. I think Wolff does well this year, and why not start with a win at the Farmers?
Rahm also went back to the 2-ball. What is this shaft that everybody's using now? This like very thick. He has like Rahm's was red.
Yeah, that's a Callaway Odyssey thing. I think it's like really heavy. It's like a counterbalance shaft. Maybe I'm speaking out of my ass here, but I'm pretty sure it has to do with like it's really light, but then it gets heavy at the head and then maybe heavy in the grip. So it's like it feels differently. I could be completely off, but
I think
it was they've had it for a while. Like it used to be like a gray or a black shaft. Molinari uses it, Schauffele uses it, but now it's red, so it stands out. You'll see, like, I think Leishman has it in, and Rahm changing putters is interesting because that was the last club that he had to make this switch. I guess when you sign a new deal, the companies typically give you a little leeway with the putter, and wedges, I believe, is kind of what they don't really care as much about. So Rahm finally feels comfortable enough to go with the 2-ball. So we'll see how that affects him, if anything.
they're not.
He's on PGA Tour Live, so we'll hear him cursing at his putter or the greens or something if things aren't going his way.
Yeah, they don't let the entire deal get blown up because the guy's not ready to switch his putter or whatever. Love it. Okay, one other thing before I go. Richie Warinsky made a hole-in-one on number 3 on the South course this morning. Number 3, the downhill par 3, probably the most iconic hole at Torrey Pines. It is the one that if you just Google Torrey Pines wallpaper, that's the shot you get. What are the chances that thing's on camera? No chance, right?
I bet you it is. It's going to come out a lot later. That's what's frustrating about this whole, what we've talked about earlier, is you don't see anything, and then they'll post at 3:00 or whatever my time. They'll post highlights from the morning. It's like, you had this on footage. Why don't we just watch it while it's happening? So I think we'll see it.
Okay. We'll
Maybe,
see.
maybe not. Maybe not.
I don't think they've turned the cameras on yet. I think it's too early on a Thursday morning. And even though that's the hole that everybody wants to see, I bet you they didn't even have the cameras on yet. So
We'll have to revisit that because there was some talk about hole in one odds this week, and apparently there's hole in ones quite often at Torrey Pines. Like someone tweeted no hole in one seems like guaranteed money, and then someone came back is like, this is the most hole in ones.
Yeah, they're constantly, and there's some pin locations that funnel. Speaking of which, so DraftKings is, I guess, partnered up with No Laying Up to release like some no laying up specials, and one of them was Jordan Spieth's official world golf ranking at the end of the year. Which, first of all, we need more of this.
Yeah,
we need I just love this, right? Like, give me the fun. It was that. It was like individual players to like you get like Phil or Tiger to win, and it was like win totals. But that one stuck out to me. The Jordan Spieth, I think it was 81.5 on official world golf ranking at the end of the year. Not that I'm one to lock up my money for the next 12 months, but like I need this stuff. This is awesome.
He's like 86 now, isn't he?
I thought he was in the 90s. I thought he was 92 when I looked the other day.
What a fall.
91.
Man, poor guy. So 81, that's like almost like a climb.
Especially because the PGA Championship and the Charles Schwab Challenge, which are like his last two top 10s essentially, are going to fall off in 6 months. So he's going to have to replace him with something and then continue to improve.
Yeah, and he's not going to be getting in like the WGCs unless that's Spieth. No Spieth at WGCs is kind of odd, and that's usually where you bank those world ranking points. He did get an invite into like the CJ Cup or the Zozo, which I found, that's how it is when you're a name like that. You're going to get in regardless. But I don't know if he was deserving of that spot, but free world ranking points there that I'm not sure he even put to good use. But I would take the over, I guess, so higher than 80, 81, I think, by the end of the year.
So would I. I think it's almost a lock. Like, I mean, he's the way the official world golf rankings work. He's going to have to replace results in 6 months and then just to get back to like his current spot. And then he's going to have to play better than that. And there's no indication that that's going to happen.
Right. If he has like a bad few months, he could drop out of the top 100. He could plummet.
He could be out of the top 100 in 2 weeks. He'll be out of the top 100
he could be. This could be a free fall if he doesn't start banking some top 10s.
Exactly. So
poor Spieth. I'm cheering for him. I want him back.
Me too. Golf is way better when he's in contention. What else, Pat? Anything? We good?
I think I'm more or less good here. Fun one though. I'm looking forward to the golf. The West Coast is it's a lot easier. I guess we had the West Coast last week, but those Hawaii ones get a little late. So it's nice to wrap up around like 7 p.m. Eastern and then, move on with your night.
I always forget that. Because I convinced myself we're on the West Coast swing. So I always forget that Phoenix is next week. I know it's during the Super Bowl, but I always forget I always think it's American Express, Farmers, Pebble, Genesis, because I'm like, I want they go California.
They bolt over to Arizona quickly and then come back for 2 more in California.
Right. So that always messes with me. So it's Waste Management next week. So we'll have that stream next week. And
this is a great stretch. No Pro-Am at the Pebble Beach. So we get actual Pebble Beach coverage. Then Genesis. Yeah, this is good.
And then you get the newly named World Golf Championships at the Concession. That's the new name.
Oh, right. Not the WGC Mexico.
Right.
They should have kept Mexico for one more year, even though
just keep it going. Yeah. Then API, then the players, then the Honda, then the match play. It's phenomenal. Every week.
This is really like this until the Masters is like one of my favorite stretches. Then you get into some of the lesser events until the PGA rolls around. But yeah, this is a great stretch.
Love it. Eric Patterson, you can find his work on The Score. You can find him on Twitter at EPATGolf. You can read his Quick 9, which I highly recommend that you do. EPAT, as always, thanks, my dude.
Always a pleasure. Have a good week.
All right. This is 300 Yards to Unknown. Follow me at RickRunGood. Catch you next time. Later.